What's going on, interwebs? Hello, people. I am thoroughly excited to be making this video today. Last night, while I was on the Xbox, playing Overwatch, I got a message from Xbox Live that I was granted access to the Gwent closed beta. I signed up for it way back when they first fucking announced it, because I actually thoroughly enjoyed playing Gwent in The Witcher 3, which I guess I should explain what Gwent is. Back when The Witcher 3 came out, I don't know about The Witcher 2. I do own The Witcher 2. I bought that on the 360 ages ago, back when 360 was a thing. But I didn't get, like, super far into the story. I got to, like, the first fucking town you come across and then kind of stopped playing it. But I don't know if Gwent was a thing in that game. It was a thing in The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. It was like this whole side thing. And there were even side quests linked to it. Like, there was even, like, a fucking Gwent tournament where everyone had to pay a cost to get into the tournament, but you also had to compete against other players in the pro circuit, and you could take their cards, kind of like racing for pink slips, except if you lost, you just lost. You failed the quest. But if you beat the enemy player in the game, you got their best card, which was typically a really awesome rare card that made your deck significantly better. And I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. And one of the first videos I put up on my YouTube, granted it wasn't with voiceover or commentary or anything like that, but one of the first gameplays I put up on my channel when I first got my Xbox One was how to play your first Gwent match when you first come across that guy in the first tavern, and he's like, oh hey, want to play a round of cards with me? And that was like one of the very first videos I ever did, and I actually own The Witcher 3 Collector's Edition, which kind of, sucks a little bit because, I didn't get the Season Pass. Which I'm saying, like, if you pay $250, which is what I paid, for a Collector's Edition, or some kind of, like, high-end edition where you get, like, a statue, just give us the fucking Season Pass, game developers. Seriously. I paid $250 for the Witcher 3 Collector's Edition, which, in hindsight, was probably stupid, because I didn't have the fucking money to begin with. That just pissed away $250 on a Collector's Edition. But it came with that Geralt of Rivia fighting the Griffin statue. I fucking love it. And it came with an art book, the steelbook for the game, Witcher medallion made of real steel. I think it's steel. It's got some weight to it. You could hurt a motherfucker if you hit him with it. It's got a steel chain. It's got actually 2 packs of Gwent cards, which I thoroughly love. It's either 1 or 2 packs. I'd have to open up my entertainment center here and actually pick it up and open the box and look inside. But it came with a plethora of stuff. But anyway, getting back to Gwent, it was like this whole side thing, and I actually thoroughly enjoyed playing Gwent in The Witcher 3. And then CD Projekt Red, when they finished The Witcher 3, they found out there was like a cult following of people who actually thoroughly enjoyed playing Gwent in the game. And, of course there's a group of people off to the side that didn't really do it. They might have played it for the achievements, but once they got the Gwent-related achievements, like I think the one I still need is getting every single card in the fucking game. But, once they got the Gwent-related achievements, or maybe they didn't, they just stopped playing Gwent, or maybe they never played Gwent at all. But CD Projekt Red saw that there was a group, like a mass group of people that actually enjoyed playing Gwent, and started making their own cards and playing it in real life. So they decided, why not just make a game? And here it is. It's in closed beta and Xbox Live. Again, as I said, when I was playing Overwatch last night, they sent me a message, Xbox, not CD Projekt Red, because I signed up for the closed beta literally when they first announced it. And they've been letting people in more and more at a time, but I just now gained access last night, and as I said, you know, Microsoft sent me a message. That's CD Projekt Red. It would have been really fucking cool if somebody from CD Projekt Red sent me a message and was like, hey, here's a code. But I'm a nobody on YouTube right now, so I don't expect that shit to be happening anytime soon. But I got a message from Xbox Live last night while I was playing Overwatch, and it's like, you've been granted access to the closed beta, and here's a code. So I redeemed the code and had it installed last night. And I did my stuff this morning, literally. I got up, had breakfast, went to the DMV and got a new license because the ID number on my driver's license got scrubbed off. Completely not my fault, because apparently the driver's license was faulty anyway. It wasn't done correctly, so the shit scrubbed off, so they replaced it for free. So I was told at the counter, but if I get anything in the mail, I'll be sure to make my voice heard. But, I got home and I just booted it up and I started playing it. And for anyone who played Gwent and loved Gwent in The Witcher 3, I will say that you should thoroughly enjoy this game. Now, this takes everything that made Gwent awesome in The Witcher 3 and it keeps it, but it makes a few minor tweaks that actually improves the game. Like, some of the cards. Like, I don't remember cards that were immune to weather effects per se, but some of the cards, which makes this amazing, some of the cards, like the archers here, these are basic white cards. Nothing too special. But the archers you see there, the 3/7s, are immune to weather effects. There are new leader cards. The leader cards do different things than they did in The Witcher, as far as I can tell. Like Fultist, that's a different leader card that wasn't than the one in the game, as far as I can tell. There are new cards. There are new... There's new systems in play. It's kind of like Gwent mixed with an RTS, kind of, because I saw cards that were like trap cards, and once you set down the trap, if anything affected the trap card, or if it was destroyed, something else would happen, and you could summon a creature or a card from your deck, if you had it, into your hand. But it's just subtle changes that don't completely ruin the game. It actually improves it. And the addition of online multiplayer, now there is a campaign, a single player campaign, where I assume you can get more cards, but that's not available in the open beta, or in the closed beta. I imagine at full release they will have the single player campaign, but for the closed beta you can only do multiplayer. But with the aspect of multiplayer, it adds a whole new kind of flavor to the game, especially if they add I guess I could say competitive type gameplay, where I don't think in base multiplayer you can put up a card, and if you play the match and you lose that card. But it brings a new kind of competitive twist to it, that if they added that type of game mode where players could put up a card, like one of their best cards or whatever, or a card in general, and the two players online could play against each other. You know, kind of like racing for pink slips in a street race. You know, you put up your pink slips, the players put up their best cards, or put up a card in general, and whoever wins gets both cards, their card and their opponent's card. Or like a huge online potluck of a mass tournament where everyone's putting in these resources that let you craft card barrels, which you use to get more cards. I believe it's called like iron ore or something, iron scrap or something. You know, each person pays in so much of that to get access to the tournament, and you know, it's just tournament basic gameplay. You just keep going and keep going and keep going, and whoever wins the tournament gets this mass amount of scrap or whatever the hell it's called, and they can use that to buy barrels. Now, I will say there are microtransactions in the game, even in the closed beta, where you can spend real-life money to get card barrels, which again are the things you use to get more cards. So, microtransactions are a thing, but that's the case with every fucking game almost out there now. But you don't need to do the microtransactions. Like, there's a free way to do things just like in every other single game, almost every other single game, which again is the iron scrap. It costs 100 iron scrap. See right there, I got a card keg, which you open in the shop and it gives you 5 random cards, and then you can choose between 3 cards. You keep the 5 random ones no matter what, but then you can choose 1 out of 3 to pick. So you get those 5 random ones, and then you have 3, and you can pick 1 of the 3, which gives you in total 6 cards from 1 barrel. There's 2 types of tutorials in the closed beta. The combat and then the card management. I went through it all just to get the resources. As you can see, you get shit for completing each tutorial. For this one, you get... This is actually the one that's scrapped, the deck builder, which you use to craft other cards. See, so they have 2 different ways for you to get cards for free. Right off the bat, without even using the microtransactions. There's the scrap, which is like fabric and shit, that you can use to craft cards. Each card has a fabric cost. And then there's the actual ore, which you use to purchase a single barrel, or keg. I guess I should call it a keg, because that's what it's actually called. But you need 100 of the ore to craft a keg, and each card has a different set amount of scrap it needs to be crafted. So you don't need the microtransactions. I would have said that the microtransactions kind of killed the game, but they have so much shit in place for people like me who don't have the option of spending that kind of money on microtransactions. They have the fabric scraps where you can craft the cards, and they have the ore where you can save that up and buy a keg. Now, if the full game comes out and these tutorials are still in place and you still get this shit for completing the tutorials, I highly recommend you complete the tutorials, if only for the small amount of resources they offer.
Human in shop, soup in shop.
You'd think the gameplay would be my favorite part of this game, but no, it's the fucking troll in the shop. I love that troll.
Won't see what wow inside.
I fucking love this shop troll. Very first keg I ever opened, I got what would be considered an epic card. There's basic, rare, epic, and legendary. The purple is the epic. Legendary cards, I assume, are only the gold cards. Gold cards are the most notable cards, such as you saw in the tutorial, I had Geralt of Rivia and Linus LaRoche. I think his first name's Linus. I just know that his last name is LaRoche, but I'm pretty sure his first name's Linus. Those first four or five, I think it's 5 cards that you saw there, I got. They're mine, no matter what. But here you have to choose one of the 3 that you want to receive. Oh, so it's 4, because it says pick your 5th card. So you get 4 random cards immediately when you open a keg. They're yours no matter what. And then you pick 1 out of 3 to be your 5th.
Customer right always.
They give you a keg for completing that tutorial, and they give you a keg to open for the tutorial. So you can't really go wrong with doing it. This tutorial is the one that gives you the metal ore. I can't remember if it's iron. I want to say it's iron ore. And here's where you learn about the crafting of the cards. As it stands right now, I really don't have much to say about this game negative. It's in closed beta, but it's like they took everything that made Gwent awesome in The Witcher 3, added a few new things to keep it fresh, but it didn't ruin it, and there's so much room for them to expand upon, like I said, with like the tournaments with the potluck where you could actually gain crafting materials like the ore or the scrap. They probably use the ore more than anything. Or, you know, the actual like betting with cards, duels. There's so much room for growth that it's just crazy. I don't know if they would do it. It's one that they might consider as like a competitive. Like I said, if you're gonna bet a card, then you have to be really, really secure in and confident in your ability to win. So card betting would probably only be like competitive gameplay if they added a competitive type thing to this game, which I don't know why they wouldn't.
Prices for humans.
And it also adds the whole like
La 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 la.
deck phenomenon, because you know people
Good soup.
spend hours making the perfect build in MMOs. Like if you go and look at all the fucking Diablo builds, or hell, even builds for the Witcher game, there's tons and tons and tons of content on YouTube for character builds in games. And the same thing could be applied to cards. You don't have to stick to a certain type. Like, you don't have to stick to an entire Nilfgaard deck. If a Nilfgaard card works really well with, say, a monster card, you could make combos using Nilfgaard and monsters or whatever and make, like, the ultimate deck. There's just so much room for growth in this game that it's... If you seriously loved Gwent in The Witcher 3, you should not have a single problem loving Gwent the game, because I've only played the tutorial and I fucking love it. I love it, I really do. But that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fuck out of making it. I'll see you in the next one. Later.